Hello everyone. In this video, I will show you all about the Police Station, 2021's LEGO modular set. This set is very special to me. First, because it was a gift from my family. Second, because the Police Station was one of my top wishes for LEGO to add to the modular family. This is my 9th modular from the total of 16. So yeah, I arrived a bit late to the game, and the first 7 modulars were not being sold anymore when I started collecting. Well, I have in my bucket list a project to buy the parts and build the 7 modulars that I'm missing, but I'll talk about that in another video. This one is all about the Police Station. So let's dive in. And we have everything here. As usual in the big sets, LEGO has a white box to split the bags into two, so they don't get that much crumbled. We have bags from 1 to 14. We have the base plate and some additional plates, and the instruction book. So I'll start building, and I will show you all the interesting techniques and all the cool stuff about this set as we go along. So keep watching. 3 bags down out of the 14, it's time to show you around. So I'll start to show you the donut shop, which from the 2 side stores is the one more advanced. So it has sweet side counter for people to eat, a really cool detail. It has the coffee pot and the paper cups for the lady to serve the coffee. Then you have the shelves with the donuts and other sweets. The only thing that I don't really like is the main counter, because it's a full counter. It doesn't have any space for the person serving to enter and leave. So it's a bit off the reality. And I think that in this case, you could move the register machine a bit to the side and leave a space open. For now, it's the only detail that I find less appealing on this set. Also, we have a minifigure, the lady serving the coffee and selling the donuts on the donut shop. She has a double printed face. On one side, she's smiling, and on the other side, she's laughing. So this is probably one of the happiest minifigs ever. So on to our main dish, the police station itself. I really like the front stairs. I'm really forward to seeing the full entrance. We can see already a holding cell here on the corner, and we can see a tunnel beneath. So probably we'll have a prisoner trying to escape. You can see that here in the back, there's a kind of a hole already semi-open for the prisoner to escape. The holding cell has some stairs and go to the back door. I think it's also very cool that they have put the holding cell going into the back door. So for instance, you can have like a van to transport prisoners going into the alley and the prisoners not leaving to the front door to be transferred somewhere. The holding cell has a toilet and has like a bench or a bed. The bed or bench goes up, probably for us to access the tunnel. I'm very curious to understand how this will be closed and how do we access it. One of the coolest things so far is this water machine. It's probably the best water machine I've seen, full of detail. The cups on the side, the place where you put the cup to get the water. Very, very cool. The newsstand has almost nothing, has the newspapers on front, and we can see already that the newsstand guy has a craving for donuts as he has a pile of them stashed inside the newsstand. I'm back. Right now I have completed 6 out of the 14 bags of this set. At this point I have finished the ground floor of the police station. Let me show you around. Let's start again by the donut shop. On the inside there's nothing relevant since the last status. On the outside there are 2 cool things. One is the sign. It's built with 2 donut-shaped tiles with prints, looking like 2 intertwined donuts. The second is the canopy. It's more angular than the canopies in other modular buildings. It has different bricks being used on the build. I'll show you the build somewhere down here. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. Since we are on the outside, let me show you the entrance for the police station. It's awesome. They did an amazing job designing this. It's completely relatable to a public office building with the 2-door entrance, the glass vertical brick walls on the side, the columns, even the bricks in the corners. One special word for the sign on the top of the doors. It has this roof shape that usually in other builds were done with Technic bricks and it was not very sturdy. And in this case, there's a new way of building it that really improved the way it looks and it feels. So really cool. Also, the bushes on both sides of the entrance, they use a new brick, or at least I think so. I've never seen it before. And it's a really cool brick for building like thick bushes. Visually, it has a very nice effect. Going on the inside, of course, I have to mention the vintage phone on the desk with the printed small slope. And of course, the stairs. And these stairs are amazing. I can never look at stairs built with Lego and not compare them with these ones. I've put the video showing how it is built here below while I'll talk. So it's a great use of bricks that already existed. Some of them are recent, but they already existed. I had never seen stairs built like that, and they fit perfectly. They have a great visual. They're much more realistic as stairs, especially when you're talking about a public building where there are visitors. It's not a home, because the gray color is not very common inside houses, but in public buildings it is. So my favorite piece of the building so far is these stairs. Also, as I suspected, there's an easily removable piece, the holding cell door, that you can remove to have access to the tunnel being built below. So this is easily removable. You just have to pull up the bench and then pull down the bench. So really, really cool. I'm missing basically the newsstand. I really like the vintage look of it. The design is really cool and it's small. They could fit a lot of details in a very small piece of the build, because it relates very much in terms of scale with the entrance of the police station. I also like the color. So the dark green, it's very traditional, I think, for these newsstands. So I think it fits perfectly. And talking about colors, I need to give a shout out to the designers of this set, because besides being a great color combination, it's a set of tones that, being rare, like sand green, this purple one, really add value to this set. In these bags, we also have an additional minifigure, the first policeman minifig. I really, really like the uniform. It's very vintage, and especially the hat. It's not round, it's 9-sided. which may seem a bit weird, but looks really good. He's carrying a walkie-talkie, which it's actually almost the same design than the ones from old police stations of Lego. I have a few around that have more than 30 years old. Really nice that they keep producing these one. So that's it. Going into the first floor of the police station. I have completed the 8th bag out of the 14 and I'm halfway through the first floor. Starting with the 3rd minifigure, this is the newsstand operator. He has a really cool outfit, especially the cap and the bag for the newspapers. But why is he holding a pole with a chain and a donut in the end of that chain? And is that related with the news in the newspaper of a donut thief going around? I'll explain everything in a few seconds. This is the current status of the first floor, so the thing that is mostly completed is the 1-bedroom house above the donut shop, and we have several things to talk about here. First is the vinyl turntable stand, very interesting and with a lot of detail for its size. We have the kitchen with a very interesting sink and the rug, and finally the bed. The bed itself is not much different from other beds in Lego sets, especially in modulars, but it moves up and shows a hole in the ground. So now it all makes sense. So Mr. Newsstand Operator is the one living in this house above the donut shop and uses that hole with his pole and chain to steal donuts from the shop, and hence the news title about the donuts being stolen. Pretty fun, right? Another fun detail is that Chris McVeigh, the designer of this set, is posing on a photo in the booklet with exact this outfit and eating a donut. On the police station side, the only detail relevant is the setup for taking mugshots. On the outside, this window is really well done and I love the design. And in the back, the entrance for the apartment above the donut shop and this balcony done using the same bricks than the stairs is a really interesting concept. Finished the 10th bag and completed another floor. These 2 bags were all about finishing the first floor of the station. Let's see inside. The highlights in the first floor of the station are these 2 desks, one of them with another vintage phone and the other with a very cute typewriter. Both of the devices are using printed 1x2 slopes. A clues board using a special part which is a red rubber band, a potted plant, and more of those wonderful stairs. On the outside, the highlight are these police blue window shutters that help balance the sandy stone color of the building and provide a nice effect. We also have another minifigure, most noticeable by the handcuffs and a glorious 70s or 80s mustache. Almost there. I have finished the second floor that is all about the police station. We have the central area divided into 3, the hallway with a potted plant and 2 plates on the wall, probably celebrating some achievement or remembering the fallen ones in the line of duty. Then you have a room that I'm unsure if it is a surveillance room because of the recording device or if it is an interrogation room. And you have a small bathroom. Notice the cool detail of the blinds in the windows, using a part that I remember being used as stairs to access large vehicles like spaceships when I was a kid. On this side, by removing part of the roof, we have access to what seems to be a dark room for processing movies or photos, but can also be something else I'm not entirely sure. I suspect that it's the dark room because of this, that seems to be a movie reel, and the flasks with the chemicals. And also because of the door. It's a different door with a tainted glass. And when you close it, it makes a snap. I'm sure you heard it. So it looks like a room with some kind of protected environment, which makes sense if it's a dark room or lab. On the outside, there's a really cool detail with a bird eating a donut on the windowsill. We also have another minifigure. She seems to be the precinct captain. She has a double printed face. On this side, she has this like a bit mocking, a bit annoyed face. And on the other side, she is winking. Pretty interesting double printed face. Onto the final bag, and I'll do a wrap up in the end. And it's done. This last bag, besides the rooftop of the central building, only had a few details worth mentioning. A water reservoir. This is not new. The detective's office modular building already had one, but that one was in wood, and this is a different design, clearly a metal one. The police radio antenna. This ad in the side exterior building of the police station, which is actually an ad to the laundry shop in the Brick Bank modular building, which in fact is a front to a money laundering scheme. This is actually very funny that they did this cross-reference between modulars. And finally, I haven't yet mentioned it because it was being built a bit by bit on the several floors of the building, so I left it to the end. But this ivy across the whole building is awesome and it looks wonderful, and is something completely new to the modular sets. From my experience, a modular set is always a high quality product in terms of the design and the building experience. I had high expectations for this set because I really wanted a police station in the modular family. I can tell you that this set not only lives up, but even surpasses my expectations. Of course, there are always things that I would do differently. The donut shop counter, for instance, I already talked about it, but also some changes in the police station. I am missing the captain office and a proper interrogation room / lineup room with an observation room protected by tainted glass. I think most of us have that picture when we think about a police station. It's something that comes from TV shows and movies. And I think that with a few changes and sacrificing some things, mostly on the second floor, I believe it could be achieved. But of course, it's easy to talk and it's hard to design. And to be honest, this set has so many great things that completely obviate all the small things that could be a bit better. Like the wonderful facade that looks solid in the police station, but fresh in the donut shop, with the ivy smoothing the transition. Or the awesome design of the interior stairs and the extra parts that can be removed beyond the usual stacked floors to access the tunnel beneath the holding cell or the dark room in the second floor. And all the funny stories, like the newsstand operator that has a scheme to steal donuts and sell newspapers, or the cross-reference to the Brick Bank modular with the ad to the laundry shop in the exterior of the police station. All in all, this is a great set that I recommend to all the buildings fans and especially to the modular fans. Don't miss this one. Thank you for bearing with me in this long video. I hope you have found it useful. If you did, please motivate me by giving me a like or subscribing to my channel. I would also love to hear your own thoughts about this set on the comment section, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Until the next one, stay safe and keep building.